All right, I'm just going to start. Hey, everybody. How are you? Happy Tuesday. I think I'm live. Let's see. There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. This is the Sales to Scale Challenge Day 2. Yay. Excuse me. I am Emmy Kirschner, your lovely hostess for this week. And we started yesterday with going over and getting really connected to your vision. And the whole thing that I wanted you to be able to take away from yesterday's day is that connecting to your vision, your why, your purpose, and really staying connected there is going to inform you with what your marketing is, but also how you're helping your people, and really just motivate you to get yourself going and keep going even when it's really hard. So if you haven't watched that video, go back and do that. And do the homework so that you can participate in some of the prizes, which I'll get to in a few minutes. I've got my notes over here so I don't forget anything, so that's why I'm kind of peeking over here, because I get so excited and sometimes I miss everything. And really excited to be here with you. I also wanted to touch on that it is Mercury retrograde today, that we started the last cycle. It ends on November 3rd, which is election day. And for those of you who are sensitive to it, you may feel like things are slowing down for you. It tends to be a time where communication, travel, electronics, technology, nothing works the way you want it to. So have patience and just allow it to be what it's going to be. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mercury retrograde, the other thing too is it's like a 3-week period that happens 3 times a year, where not supposedly, but from an astrological standpoint, looks like Mercury's spinning backwards, and it's supposed to be a time of reflection, a time to slow down, rejuvenate, rest, etc., etc. And part of why I am sharing this with you is because I used to think that when Mercury was in retrograde, I could not sell. And we're going to be talking about mindset and beliefs today. So if you have ever thought that, if you've ever felt like, oh God, it's this like dry period and nothing's ever going to happen, etc., I want you to put that belief to the side, because this is a great time to connect with your people. Do it in a more kind of slow fashion. You want to just take the time, as I said, if things come up where technology doesn't work, your computer decides to go on the fritz, travel, which I know we're not traveling as much, but even if you're, I don't know, going anywhere and it seems like you're hitting all the lights, just have patience with that and allow it to be a time of reflection. So let's dive in. Again, I recapped yesterday. We talked about your vision and getting connected to that. Today we're going to talk about mindset and the 3 roadblocks that most entrepreneurs experience that keep them stuck and keep them from scaling your business. And again, the whole reason why I named this Sales to Scale is because in order to grow your business, in order to scale, in order to bring on team members, and really start to have more freedom and to be able to focus on the things that you love instead of getting stuck in all of the nitty-gritty details, which I know some of you do love being in that space, which is great. I am not one of them. I'm the big vision person, right? But you want to be bringing in enough revenue so you can get to that vision, okay? And you can get to that place of having more time to really think about, remember I talked yesterday about having thinking time, but to think about where you want to drive your business and the impact that you're making. So today, and really I think this is probably one of the biggest concepts, is that your mindset, what you're thinking and what you believe about your business and about life in general, is going to drive your results more than any action that you take, any strategy you decide to implement, anybody that you can hire, any coaching program, any education you can get, because how you're processing that information according to your beliefs is going to affect the results that you get. So, excuse me, sorry, I still have weird cough and itchy throat. So just bear with me as we're getting through some of the stuff. Hopefully, it'll be really quiet. Anyways, so the three mindset and really roadblocks that I see people struggle with are one, they are afraid to fail. And honestly, like entrepreneurship is you are guaranteed to fail somewhere along the line. It doesn't mean that your business is going to fail, but somewhere along the line, you are going to experience failure. So I want to help you be able to shift that into really enjoying failure and not being afraid of it. Two is really switching your mindset from and the actions that you're taking from the employee or the payroll person to that CEO or the leader. So again, I touched on this yesterday, but where you're driving business and you're looking at the results and really getting to know your numbers. And then the third one is that sales is serving. Like sales can be so much fun. And some of you may be like, no way. But I'm going to cover why that is and how you can get into that mindset as we wrap up the day. And then I'll get into your homework. Okay, so let's back up and move into the first piece, which I said is learn to love failure. Every great leader, every great CEO knows and expects and puts themselves and their people in places of failure. And let me just share a story from like, I think 5 or 6 years ago. I had just a year that was not, it wasn't bad. It just, I hadn't hit my revenue goal that I wanted. And I hadn't done some of the things that I'd set out to do in my business plan. And I was kind of on the phone. There was no kind of, I was on the phone, kind of whining to my brother about, I didn't do this and blah, 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 and really feeling bad. Oh my goodness. Hey, Sonia, thank you. I'm so glad that you think that I'm looking great. It's the lighting. So anyways, I was on the phone whining to my brother, and he was like, wait a minute. He's like, I know for a fact that all of this stuff that you're saying is potentially true, and there's all these other things that you did. And he's like, list some of the things that you started and that you connected, and like you spoke over here and you did this and you did that. And I was like, oh, that's right, I did do all these things, because this year had been something where, or had been a time when what I thought I wanted to do, and then I ended up shifting, and then had like all these speaking gigs that brought clients in, and I ended up rolling out a new program, etc. Like all of those things had taken place, but I wasn't acknowledging them. I wasn't looking at all of the things that I had accomplished. And this is something that we do all the time. I see it in my group coaching calls where my clients are like, oh, I didn't, get to the revenue place that I wanted to get to quite, or I didn't do the reach outs. Oh, and I'm frozen. Awesome sauce. Coming back, coming back. Can you all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. All right, I think I'm unfrozen again. Anyways, internet, Mercury retrograde. So, something I see all the time is we're looking at all the things we didn't accomplish. So I want you to start looking at every day and every week, what did you accomplish, right? Maybe it isn't what you expected, and that's okay. Maybe you had an opportunity show up that, came out of nowhere, but is exactly what you needed and helped you, get to the next place. And also put yourself in places where you can grow, right? I mean, you see on the internet and everywhere, like, get uncomfortable. That's where growth happens. And along the way on that path to growth is failure, is discomfort, is doing things over and over again. So what does this have to do with your sales conversations and sales in general? If you're anything like me, and we talked about this again yesterday, is that, you probably didn't start your business to become a master at sales and at closing clients or sending out proposals, right? You started your business because you had a vision of helping other people. And part of growing that business, part of feeding that baby, as I said yesterday, is mastering sales. So set yourself up for success and practice all the time. Look at where you can do a better job in becoming a master at sales, whether it's writing copy, whether it's being in the sales conversation, whether it's in your follow-up process, etc. Go and practice that all the time. I am in a constant, and not every day, but year over year, I'm in a constant place of elevating my ability to sell and to learn how to help other people so that I can overcome their objections, so that I can connect with them and share how I can show them how that they can grow their business. And the same thing is something that you want to be able to taking on too. How can you be serving your clients more effectively? And that's by practicing, getting uncomfortable, and knowing and expecting that you're not going to close every client. That's okay. Don't feel bad about that. Look at what you can do better and better. Do enjoy failure. Yes, sales can be fun. Sales are fun. Yes, Sonia. Um, but look at how you can do it better. Do a debrief, right? Practice with, some of your friends or colleagues, etc., in your sales conversations. It's going to help you really master, it's like yoga, right? Master this whole process. And that's when your sales conversion ratio will go up, right? And that's exactly what you're looking for. So that's number one. Number two is start looking at how you are showing up as an employee. And I'm going to define that as somebody who's showing up as wanting to just check off, a to-do list. You're not thinking about the vision of the business. You're not looking at all of the results. And how can you show up as that CEO or that leader? And a really great story for me to share with you here is a client of mine that I worked with years ago, and she was an incredible, her name was Allison. Allison was incredible at what she did, and she was also great at sales. Like, she could bring sales in and close clients really easily, but she had no idea what was going on in her business, and she was in this constant state of I'm just going to call it the hustle cycle, where she would, close a whole bunch of clients. Her business would be full. She would be in delivery. And then towards the end of the month, she'd be like, oh shit, I don't have any more people coming in. So then she would go through that whole period, and maybe you've experienced it, that all or none, feast or famine. I've got clients, I've got nothing, I've got everybody talking to me, I have crickets, right? And it's really stressful and it's exhausting. So one of the things that we looked at was, creating a systematic and consistent sales approach to help her consistently increase her revenue. And that was done by knowing her numbers. Now, I know some of you are like, no, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at money. I'm not good at numbers. Maybe you had a fifth grade teacher like me who told you that girls can't do math or numbers, and you really took that to heart for a while. Oh man, the worst. Yes, Beckett. And how are you showing up as a leader? Yeah, you have to show up as a leader in your business every day. And I'm not saying that as like, oh my goodness, it's, but shift the feeling, shift the experience, right? When you're really committed to helping people, it's super easy to show up as like, I am about to kick butt, right? And that's going to elevate your experience in how you get everything done. So moving back into Allison, we looked at her conversion ratio and tracking, and this is where those numbers come in, right? How many of you know how many leads you need to have, how many sales conversations that you need to have to get a client, right? And if you don't, in the description up top, I posted in or pasted in a link to help you figure that out with a super simple revenue calculator. It'll tell you, just generally speaking, top line, what you need to be doing for reach outs. If you're doing online stuff with like landing pages, it's a little bit different, but this will give you an idea. Because how many of you have had, this incredible course or a program or whether it's group or individual, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get 20 people in it, and you end up with 3, right? It's a function of not knowing those numbers and not tracking that. So as you're making reach outs, and I know you're like, the last thing I want to do is, have to write all this stuff down. It takes forever. That's right. Not having a system is really stressful, Sonia. Yes. So, you know, I know tracking and writing everything down can seem like a pain. In the long run, it's going to send you or save you hours and hours of time, right? I have a KPI, which is a key performance indicator spreadsheet that I use weekly, that my clients learn to use weekly. And the power behind knowing your numbers is that you have the ability to see, one, what's working and what's not working, right? Is posting on Facebook or Instagram, going to be more effective for you? Where are you getting engagement and being in conversations? Is networking more effective for you, whether virtual or in person, right? How many calls do you need to have before you can fill your book, right? And how many posts? I mean, there's so many different things that you can measure, but that information is going to give you the information you need for where do I start to direct my marketing? Where do I start to direct my conversations? And where do I start to really focus my time and energy? Because one of the things that's really difficult is the feeling that we have to be everywhere all the time. And that's not true. You want to be where your clients are and where you're getting the best results. But unless you measure that, it's really a guessing game, right? You may think your clients are in one place when really they're in an entirely different place, getting spam call now. So, um, you want to be looking at start with the revenue calculator, okay? And third, the third roadblock is that sales is serving. Now, this is my favorite piece, okay? Because, and as I shared with you yesterday, excuse me, as I shared with you yesterday, I was terrified of selling. Like it, when I grew my first two businesses, it happened very organically, and it was like all referral based, and it was a much slower growth than what I wanted with my coaching practice. So I hadn't really had any difficulty with finding clients, closing clients, handling objections, etc. until I got to this place in coaching where like I had to actually get out there and people could see me, right? And I just thought, as I said, people were going to, be like, oh, look, there's Emmy. She can help me. Let me work with her. And that's not the case, right? Right? It's not the websites, not the social media stuff, right? And it's not, going to networking events or whatever else you're doing for marketing. It's finding the right things, but it's understanding your value and recognizing that you're not doing something to somebody from a sales perspective, right? You're actually doing something for somebody. You're solving somebody's problem, right? You have a solution to something that somebody is struggling with. And yeah, maybe it comes really, really easy for you, right? Which sometimes enables, and I've seen this with my clients again, it enables to not value what you do because you don't have to work hard for it, right? Building a website may come really easy for you. Graphic design may come really easy for you. Helping other people build businesses may be really easy for you, but it's not easy for everybody, right? So that's the piece that I really want you to start thinking about, because this mindset of, I'm here to help the people that I'm supposed to, connect with, right? And it's not about like, one of the things that I love, and I'm just going to kind of interrupt myself here. One of the things I loved is when we were doing networking in person. One of the groups was Fem City, which, by the way, awesome group, women's group. But when we were meeting in person, there were always 4 to 6 realtors, right, that were in the networking luncheon in that group for the day. And they all used to sit together, first of all. Like they didn't see each other as competition, even though sometimes their markets overlapped. They all supported each other. They all referred business to each other because they saw the value of being able to solve problems together. So even if you have a lot of competition, It's really a lack mindset, right? Look at the people that are doing similar things. One, you can identify how you stand out, but two, they can, yes. All right. So Becca just said everyone's not good at everything and has a different zone of genius. Yes. And I want you to stay in your zone of genius as much as possible. And excuse me, from the realtor standpoint too, you know, working together and identifying those people who can be strategic partners can help bring you incredible clients, and really connect even better with the people that you're supposed to be working with, right? So even if there's a ton of competition, and I'm air quoting competition, right? It's really not. I want you to keep an abundant mindset because your people are going to show up because you've identified what you do specifically to solve their problem. And I want to share just another story with you with how powerful this can be and how when it's blocking you, right? When the fear and your brain doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. So when you start to be a little freaked out, getting on that sales call, maybe like, I really need this call. I really could use the cash. I've got bills to pay. Do they like me? Am I offering the right thing? Maybe they don't need me. Maybe they think it's dumb. All of those things have, run through our minds at different times, I'm sure. And if you shift that into, oh my God, who am I talking to? How can I help them? Right? That's going to come through in your language and how you connect with that person. You're going to put them at ease, right? They're on the other end of the phone or the Zoom or whatever going, can this person really help me? Am I going to get unstuck? Am I going to be able to move forward? Are they the right person? Finally, and sometimes they don't even know that they've got a problem until they start talking to you and they're like, wow, mind blown. So leave those opportunities open for you. And as I said, what can happen for you if once you shift this and shift the fear is exactly what happened to a client of mine. She was a photographer and she came to me in our first conversation. She's like, I'm going to be a really challenging client because I'm not sure that, I'm doing the right thing here. She's like, I'm sure that I'm overcharging. I'm going to have to reduce my rates. Nobody wants to work with me right now. I'm at the higher end of my level in my area, and I've already done it all. So she had this very closed, fixed mindset that she was not going to be able to move forward. And it did take a couple of sessions for us to break some of that down, kind of figure out what it was that was working and not working for her. And what I had, yes, detachment is totally the outcome, right? You've got to be in a neutral space, right? You can't serve anybody from fear and lack. You can't serve anybody running on empty. So as we were working together, my photographer client and I just changed a few things on her website and in her emails that she was sending out. And she had been hesitant about doing a couple of other marketing activities that we had talked about, that would happen through email. So on our next call, it was a couple of weeks later, by the time we had gotten through this, she gets on the phone and she's like, I cannot believe it. She's like, everything that you have been telling me over and over that I've been so resistant about just aligned for me. I figured it out. I understood the value that I'm offering, that I'm creating incredible memories for my people, and that this is really important, right? And she's like, and you won't believe it. She's like, I sent out those emails, and she's like, I'm booked. I'm fully booked from now, and this was like July or August, from now until the end of the year. And I have a waiting list, and I raised my rates in 2 weeks. That's how powerful your mindset is. That's how powerful shifting your beliefs into I'm here to serve you can be, which is pretty freaking amazing, right? So again, we talked about really looking at failure, setting yourself up to fail and continuing to master learning how to sell. There's always something that you can do a little bit differently that will just elevate your skills. And it's really about hearing your people, right? Hearing their problems, taking yourself out of the equation and hearing them. Number two is get into that CEO leadership mindset, right? Don't show up as the employee, just, ho hum, I got to do this stuff and I'm here to check off the task list. How are you driving the results? How are you tracking the information? How are you looking at and using that as a space and a way to identify where you're supposed to be going? And then third is sales is serving. You can actually have so much fun with sales because, yeah, is everybody for you? No, and that's okay. You don't need however many billion people that are in the world in your pipeline. You need a small percentage of that so that you can serve them to a really high standard and truly solve their problems. So I hope that was super helpful for you. This is, as I said, my favorite part of any sales training that I do because the energy of sales, the mindset of sales is so important in how you're looking at it. So if you felt like you were being too pushy, too assertive, or anything else, I really want you to look at I'm a problem solver. That's the mantra of the day. I am a problem solver. Okay. Now, homework for the challenge. And let me back up and say, if you participate in all 5 days, we have two different prizes. One is one person is going to get the complimentary access to the six-figure accelerator program, which is my 90-day group program that I designed to help you fast track into and past six figures consistently. It has all sorts of incredible training in it and everything from, yes, Sonia, you are a problem solver. So it has everything in it from getting really clear about your foundations, but also learning where to market best, more on sales than I can possibly give you here, systems, really it gives you the foundation of how to grow, scale your business into multiple six figures. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Somebody will be winning that. And then also we have 5 slots that people will be winning the Tribe of Leaders Biz School, which is more of a DIY. Value with six-figure accelerators, $4,500. Tribe of Leaders Biz School is $500. And just trainings in there that you can access anytime that will help you, again, start to improve your sales game, learn how to be at peak performance, learn how to be a leader, etc., etc. So that's what you get for playing. And today's homework is, one, do the revenue calculator. The link is up there in the description, okay? You don't have to share your results, but start looking at that. Start looking at what your conversion ratio is. And two, excuse me, and two is in the comments in this stream, I want you to write out what problem that you solve. Now, this is not your vision. This is how do you help your people, okay? And if you have questions about that, happy to kind of work with you on that piece a little bit so that you get super, super clear, all right? So have an amazing day. I've had so much fun with you today. Day 3 will be same time as today, 11 a.m. Eastern time, my shining face and you, and we're going to have super more fun. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but we're going to have a ton more fun. There you go. And I will see you all later. Bye.